Hoy en Carolina Ahora, Election Day 2024. What to bring when voting, where to find a polling place, everything you need to know to make sure that your vote counts today. Stay tuned because we have you covered on all things election.
Bienvenidos a Carolina Ahora, Noticias en Spanglish. Soy María Fernanda Barriga Mateos.
Y soy Chrisanne Bennett. Now, Maria, I early voted and I got this sticker. Did you get a sticker when you voted?
Yeah, it's right here. It was my first time voting when I went back for fall break.
Super cool. And the day is now here. No more early voting because it's El Día de las Elecciones. And hopefully you guys can get a sticker that's a little cooler than mine. But we're here at Carolina Ahora bringing you election morning updates. So let's get straight to the polls. Right now we have a reporter, Dahlia, coming to us live from the Holy Trinity Lutheran Church polling location. Dahlia, dime, what's it like out there right now? How long are those lines for voting?
Gracias, Chrisanne. We're here at Holy Trinity Lutheran Church on Pickard Lane off of Franklin Street. As you can see, voters are slowly coming in, but the chief judge of this site said that already 23 voters have came in and casted their vote this morning. He said this number does not reflect the number of voters that have already casted their ballot, as over 50% of Orange County voters have already casted their ballot during early voting. But if you are planning to come to this site, it closes at 7:30. And if you are planning to vote today at any site in Orange County, please make sure that you bring a valid photo ID. Back to you.
Thank you, Dahlia. All eyes on the polls in Latinx voters. Over the past week, these voters became the focus of many headlines after a controversial joke about the Latinx communities at a Trump rally. Jokes that included an insult to the island of Puerto Rico. Here are the words from the comedian Tony Fishman, who took the stage at Madison Square Garden before former President Donald Trump stepped to the podium at the rally.
Believe it or not, people, I welcome migrants to the United States of America with open arms. And by open arms, I mean like this. It's wild. And these Latinos, they love making babies too. Just know that. They do. They do. There's no pulling out. They don't do that. They come inside, just like they did to our country.
Cuando periodistas le preguntaron a Trump sobre los comentarios controversiales, él negó conocer al comediante. Puertorriqueños famosos como Bad Bunny y Ricky Martin hablaron en contra de los comentarios. Jennifer Lopez habló en el evento de Harris para apoyarla.
It wasn't just Puerto Ricans that were offended that day, okay? It was every Latino in this country. It was humanity and anyone of decent character.
Muchos miembros de la comunidad latina en redes sociales expresaron que su apoyo para la isla de puertorriqueños y los borricuas.
Ahora, J-Lo no fue la única celebridad latina que respaldó a un candidato presidencial. Los Tigres del Norte también fueron a un evento para apoyar a Harris.
Somos los Tigres del Norte. Estamos aquí con Kamala Harris.
Go to iwillvote.com.
Según a Pew Research, más de 36 millones de latinos son elegibles para votar. Ambas campañas reconocen la importancia del voto Latinx. Utilizaron apoyo de artistas y anuncios en español para obtener el voto latino. El artista de reggaetón famoso Nicky Jam apoyó a Trump en octubre, pero ahora rescindió su apoyo después del comentario sobre Puerto Rico. Bad Bunny apoyó a Harris después del mismo comentario también.
And it's the Latinx voter in the swing states that are getting a lot of attention from campaigns. The swing states you should keep an eye out are Pennsylvania, Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, Wisconsin, and right here in North Carolina.
Y para votar hoy, visite go.unc.edu/voter para obtener más información sobre el lugar de votación. El Sonia Hayes Stone Center, localizada en South Road, Chapel Hill, es donde muchos de los estudiantes irán a votar. Los demás residentes de Chapel Hill y Scarborough votaron en el centro de votación que corresponde con su lugar de residencia. Asegúrese de traer una identificación válida con foto. Puede ser una licencia de conducir, identificación estatal o un pasaporte. También hay trabajadores electorales en cada ubicación para ayudar con el proceso. Don't be surprised by an additional amendment on the North Carolina ballot. El cambio eliminará el término ciudadanos naturalizados de quienes pueden votar. Solo diría ciudadanos. Algunos en la comunidad latina están preocupados que el cambio dejaría quienes pueden votar a favor de la interpretación en el futuro.
Creemos nosotros que es innecesario, y el argumento que dieron para aprobar esta reforma y ponerla en la boleta electoral nos parece insuficiente. Esto más parece tener que ver con una retórica antiinmigrante que estamos viendo que se está diseminando en todo el país.
Now we are here with Josahani Avila, and today she's going to tell us about all the preparation she's done for today's election. She's a member of the Young Democrats and interns for Josh Steins. And now we will go back to Chris Ann. Back to PSA, I'm sorry. Sorry, I missed it. You're good. Thank you for sticking with us. Today we welcome Josahani Avila. She's a member of the Young Democrats and an intern for Josh Stein's campaign. She is also an undergrad student at Carolina and an advocate for voter registration and education. She has been on the front lines helping getting people registered, taking them to early voting, and leading a workshop on voter education leading up to today. Thank you for joining us. So tell us about what has it been to leading up to today's election.
Yeah, so we've done a lot of work with Young Democrats. We've been outside at the pit, doing literature, just doing little fun things so we can vote on a different side with Mi Pueblo. We've been doing sip and paint. We were able to do a big voter registration party. So it's been really, really fun to see how we draw in people and how a group of people and my team have been able to come with creative things to really engage our voters. And I think just honestly, education is the first and most important thing. So we've been able to have one-on-one conversations with a lot of people.
And I have to ask, what drew you into advocacy and politics?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I could say a myriad of things. I think the main thing for me was when I was younger, I had to understand a lot of different policies, and that really drove me to wanting to be in politics. And so to me, that is really, really important, and that's what just jump-started everything.
Thank you so much, and thank you for joining us today in studio. Now back to you, Chris Ann.
Gracias, Maria. Now, we'd like to just note that we did invite some representatives from UNC Young Republicans to join our show today, but they did not provide a representative for an interview. However, you will hear from them in just a few minutes as we discuss the gender gap with voters at the polls. Now, I know Maria talked a lot about what we saw with young Democrats on campus and what those early voting registration numbers looked like, but let's break down some more. Now, there have been 4 millones de votantes de Carolina del Norte votaron durante el periodo de votación anticipada, con una participación del 56%. Las elecciones de este año han superado la participación de votantes de las últimas 2 elecciones presidenciales. And according to a poll surveying 9 states, including North Carolina, that released age data, 18 and 25 years of age accounted for 8.2% of early voters, while those that were between 26 and 40 made up only 16.7%. Según la Junta Electoral de Carolina del Norte, los votantes que son demócratas registrados fueron la población con mayor participación. En sus homólogos republicanos, no muy detrás. Las poblaciones hispana y latina tuvieron una participación del 38%, quedándose detrás de black and white voters. Los condados de Mecklenburg, Bucumbe, Durham y Wake fueron algunos de los lugares con la mayor participación de votantes.
Las encuestas muestran que Kamala Harris liderará entre los votantes jóvenes. Según la encuesta Stay Tuned Gen Z de NBC News, Harris liderará entre los votantes jóvenes con una ventaja de 20 puntos. Las mujeres jóvenes favorecen a Harris sobre Trump por un margen de 33 puntos, pero los hombres jóvenes están divididos casi equitativamente, lo que da a Harris una ligera ventaja de 2 puntos. Clubs como UNC GOP y los UNC Young Democrats son vital para las opiniones y discusiones de los estudiantes sobre estos temas. Preston Hill, vicepresidente de los republicanos colegiales, Carolina's College Republicans, comparte información sobre lo que impulsa a los votantes jóvenes a Trump.
I think that Donald Trump kind of portrays a degree of, authenticity and down-to-earth communication that has been lacking in politics for a long time.
Los datos también muestran que los 48% de las mujeres jóvenes solo votarán por un candidato que compara su opinión sobre el aborto. En comparación con el 36% de los hombres jóvenes, esta brecha de género destaca las diferencias en las prioridades que podrían confiar en el resultado de las elecciones. Now to Chris Ann, who will walk us through Election Day decision making.
Gracias, Maria, and I know that's a lot of information to take in, pero bienvenidos a nuestro segmento de Mind Matters, walking you through our Election Day decision-making. And as you know, our communities are facing tough decisions right now on both the local and national levels, so it's understandable if people are feeling stressed, conflicted, or confused. It might be because for the past few months, we've been putting our dorsolateral prefrontal cortex into overload. And I know you guys are probably thinking, ¿dorso qué? I know it's a mouthful, so let's take some time to break it down. Now, this is the prefrontal cortex, and for short, the PFC, which helps us with planning, reasoning, impulse control, and so much more. But when you dig a little bit deeper, you find this bad boy, the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. Now, this is a part of the prefrontal cortex that helps us process information in real time, comparing options and weighing consequences, just like we're doing when we're deciding on the best candidates. The dorsolateral prefrontal cortex helps us to adapt our decisions based on new information, learn past outcomes, and make better future choices. And it's essential for mapping out both our long-term and short-term goals. If you need to know if something is worth the risk, check in with your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. It has you covered. Overall, this is the part of the brain that helps us stay engaged, analytical, deliberate, and goal-oriented. So if you're still undecided about which candidates to choose, do your research and use your PFC to help you feel confident at the polls today. Election season can be exciting just as it is stressful. So remember last time when we talked about stress levels, cortisol levels, and the amygdala's response and feeling anxious? Don't forget to respira, meditate, and practice self-care. And most importantly, run to the polls and make your vote count. Now that our minds are prepared, we'll go to Maria, who will help us make the perfect voting plan. Back to you, Maria.
Thank you, Chris Ann. Hoy puedes ir a votar. Visit.unc.edu/voter para obtener más información sobre el lugar de votación. el Sonja Haynes Stone Center, localizada en South Road Chapel Hill, donde muchos de los estudiantes irán a votar. Los demás residentes de Chapel Hill y Carrboro votarán en el centro de votación que corresponde con sus lugares de residencia. Asegúrese de traer una identificación válida con foto. Puede ser una licencia de conducir, identificación estatal o un pasaporte. También hay trabajadores electorales en cada ubicación para ayudar con el proceso. Gracias por ver a Carolina Ahora. Asegúrate de seguir nuestro Instagram en Carolina Ahora UNC.
And it doesn't stop here. Tonight, Carolina Week will join us with a special election coverage episode. They'll be focusing on both national and local elections, so stay tuned for that. And until then, Carolina Ahora will see you next Tuesday. Adios.